Hello, this is Chris Manley with Manley Movers, and today's video is going to be the second part of how to pack your kitchen. And we're going to go into depth a little more about certain things and do's, don'ts, tricks to the trade. Start by telling you this: bubble wrap is not necessary. If you feel more comfortable using it, it's not going to hurt, but you definitely don't need it. I will be returning this. And smalls for stemware, the real fragile things, and of course always paper. I'm just going to show you the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Stemware, long, fragile things like that. Some important things like this with like netting. You got, this hourglass, certain things like this is something that I value. It's my grandpa's football card when he used to play for the NFL back in the 50s. And this it's a little tequila gun case thing just for show. Just fragile things. Some things that you might be worried about, or maybe your wife. My wife would kill me if any of these glasses right here got broke, because they're very expensive and she just loves them to death. So I'm going to show you how to pack this kind of stuff now. Okay, so we're going to start by making our box just like the last video. One, two, always three. Again, the trick of the trade: make the tape touch, pull, it breaks. Push with your tape. Always. Hold the sides down, and always remember, have a cushion at the bottom. So nice little cushion in there. You want to push down and make sure you're not filling the bottom of the box. That's how you know you got a good cushion in there. Alright, so wrap up your stemware. Start with these. Start by starting at the stem. Roll it. Keep rolling. That top, stuff it in, and squeeze around that stem again. And it doesn't hurt to do another piece of paper just like that. That's up and down. The stem is nice and protected. Up and down in your box. Okay. Same with the ones the wife loves so much. Roll on that stem. Stuff the access in. Definitely two on this one. Stuff it all in. process till that box is full. Okay, so I got that box full now. I'm going to let you take a look. Alright, see those are the stemware. It's good. That's the top of the stemware. There's another stemware, but now that's the base. So it's good to switch them, you know. Top here is up, and then here the bottom is up. It helps kind of protect them. It mirrors them into each other. Yeah, this is one of the vases. This is that hourglass. This is just one of the skinny, tall ones. And this is that one gun one with the tequila in it. And this is the one that had that netting around it. The paper's good for that because the paper's not going to get stuck when you pull it out. It's going to come out just the way it came in. And like before, you got gaps, so you need to fill your gaps. You got gaps in the middle. You know, if you have some small little things, you could put wrapping paper like glass, fragile, you could shove in between there. That's fine too, but really the most safest way is to just add paper in between all the stemwares and fragile things like this. At all, what you want. See some gaps over here on the right. Some here. I think that's pretty good covering the gaps. But remember, these are real close to the top, so we're going to add a little paper, but not a lot, to just give it that top cushion that every box needs. Okay, so we have the paper on top. Sides, push your paper down, push your paper down, paper down, just push gently. See, it pushes it open. That's what you want. So that's done, but you also have stemware that's a little longer that might not fit in the box. So you know, for the longer stemware, you can still make this box work. This is going to be one of the tricks of the trade I'm going to show you right now. So undo it. Takes the paper out. Of course, wrap the stemware. Should do two, but this is just so I can show you the trick to the trade. Let's pull one of them out. And we'll replace it here. See how that one's not, it's not going to fit. You can't close that box. But what you can do is open it like this, right? Good. So your box like that. like that. So now you basically are extending this box to accommodate taller stemware or any tall glass pieces. What you do next is get another small and when you open it, make sure you're doing the top first, because this is going to slide over that one, and that way it's still up and down and it's still easy to see. That way people don't accidentally turn the box over. So like that. And of course, now you got gaps. You can just put a little paper back in there to fill that top. And slide this one on. Push on one corner, push on that corner, push on that corner. Just keep pushing on opposite corners until you feel the box get nice and level. Alright? So now that's just as solid as any other box. On these, do your tape all the way around. That's all you need to do. It's perfect. In today's video, you see I'm wearing a hat. The reason I wear a hat in today's video is because marking. I keep my marker there. It's just easy. So on all your boxes, write what's in there. Write kitchen. You can just write KIT to make it short and easy, or even just the letter K to make it simple. But always on something like this, you know is fragile, draw an arrow pointing up and write top load. So that right there is going to tell us that this needs to go to the top, and we're not going to be stacking anything on it. Okay, so now we're going to move to the pantry. I'm going to start by showing some more tricks to the trade for this. You get your paper, kind of roll it up. You can stick it in a small. You see I extended the small and taped the top. You sit in there like that. It can become like a tissue box, and you can just pull out what you need. So we're going to start with canned goods. They get heavy, so use smalls again. Always put a little paper in there. Just a little cushion. I know it's metal and all that, but it's good to not have anything banging around in any box. Okay, so look in your pantry and find some bigger things like Cheez-It box. Push. Box closes fine on that. That's good. Get some cans. So you want to start that box with the bigger, taller, heavier cans. some other boxes like Pop-Tarts, they'll fill a good gap there. Jello packets. You'll find that everything has different shapes and you can make everything fit in there, and you can get a lot in these boxes. Chef RD. They're a little lighter, so you want to put those at the top of the box. You know, you always got bags of stuff. This is good fillers at the top. Even chips. Chips can be good fillers. So that box is pretty good. I'll show you. Right. So you can see your box will close good. Solid. You got a little spot right there. You could probably add something, but you know, if you can't find anything, of course, reach over here to your paper tissue box and just fill that gap. Fill that gap. Fill that. Don't need a lot. It just, you know, prevents the box from caving in. Because this is going to be a heavier box, so of course it's going to be it's going to have stuff on top of it, so you still don't want it squishing down. Okay, so same as always, you got your paper. That's what you want. Push it up. That lets you know that your box is nice and sturdy and good. Of course, always do 3. So some tricks to the trade. You notice like these dish packs are good, you know, things to put boxes on while you're doing things. Chairs are also good. That way it lifts the box off the ground, so you're not having to bend down so much every time. You know, it's just little things like that that make the process easier to work on. And also want to note on the pantry, there's bigger things like, you know, there's cereal boxes that are taller, and they don't fit inside those smalls. So in the pantry, a lot of times you will also need mediums. So I already made up a medium box just to show you. They go in. Kind of, you know, the same way. You do it the same way. It just gets those bigger pantry items in that box. Between smalls and mediums, it will take care of your pantry. Okay, so we're moving on to kitchen appliances like coffee makers, this thing, toaster oven, bigger, bulkier items. Mediums are good for that, and also larges are good for that. I've already put paper in all of them. I'll just show you how they fit into those. So with the coffee maker, yourself a piece of paper. This is glass, right? Put a little paper there and shove it right back in there. Just gives it more protection. It fits in the medium nicely. And you can get some other things in there too. You'll notice what gaps you have, like this. This is something you like to just be able to keep together, pull it out, and it's ready to just be used right when you pull it out of the box. It's ready to go. So I get some paper. Wrap it up like that, and do another one. Find a nice spot in there for it. So, I want to show you. So, you do have some gaps. So, you know, you could find something else to put in there if you want or whatever. You know, here too. But when you do, you can fill up more. And then, of course, just like always, add paper to the top, close your box, and repeat the process. Okay, so some of these appliances don't necessarily fit in mediums, so then that's when you'll go up to a large, and this right here in particular does not fit in a medium, but fits good in a large. And then you can also get more in there, like this toaster oven, right? And then just put paper around them. Fill in all the gaps at the bottom. Show you again. Alright. So that's in there good. Put paper on the sides, bottom. You know, as long as you put paper around things like this, they're not going to get dinged up or anything. You don't need to like individually wrap them. You can kind of just put them in there and put paper around them, and they'll be safe. So again, you have, you know, room in here, so you can always be looking for, you know, add a little more paper, and then be looking for other things you can put in there to just fill that up, and you continue the process of what I've been showing you. Okay, and I'd also like to add that some of these appliances, like the coffee maker, they do have water in them in the reserves or whatever. Always make sure that that water's emptied in whatever appliance, coffee maker, whatever it may be, because it will leak inside the box and it could just be a mess. But now we're going to move on to pots and pans. And I recommend large and medium. I like to go with the large. You get a little more in there. So things like this, you just put, always have paper at the bottom, but you can just start putting these in there like that. These, get a little paper and just put it around them. You don't need to individually wrap pots and pans. Same with all the tops for those pans. They're glass, but they're okay. You put paper around them in here, they'll be safe. Just to give you an idea. So, just so they're not clanging around, they're not going to get damaged or nothing. So just a little paper around them is fine. And of course, you see you'll have some gaps. You just fill that in with pots and pans. They're awkward shaped, so you know you can get a lot in here, and also you can find things that you know, laying around the kitchen, like a paper towel holder. You know, like that can go in there. You got protein packs, protein powder. You see, there's a lot of things you can do. And again, always, like I say, repeat the process by filling things up the best you can, and always add that paper at the top. Okay, and now the junk drawers. Everybody's got them. This is what I do to pack all this stuff. You got these trays that hold silverware. They're good to get loaded up with whatever. Right? Wrap that in paper. And that can go in any box. If you find a spot, the gap, that could sit in any box. But I like to do mediums. If I just want to make one box just all junk drawer, then I'll just put them all in a medium. So if you have knives, anything like that, it's wise to just put a little tape. That way, if you see the tape on there, then you know there's something sharp in there. So you'll be careful when you're, you know, pulling it out. Put it in your medium. Like, if you got a bunch of loose knives, wrap it up in paper, maybe twice. Again, that's knives. So, the tape, and you know this is sharp when you pull it out. Keep it going. You got all kinds of different things. You know, so when you pull this out of the box, it's organized and it's not just a big mess. You can do one at a time and you can put them where you want when you're unloading them. All this stuff, batteries, all this kind of stuff. It just keeps your junk drawers organized, everything's safe. You pull it out at your new place. It's easy to put back where you want. It's just overall easy to stay organized, easy to load, unload, everything. Okay, last thing for the kitchen is while you're packing, any liquids, like honey, anything that is in liquid form, whether it's in a good glass jar, don't matter. Keep them to the side, and at the end, put all that into one box, right? Like even cleaners and all that stuff, because if any of that stuff spills, then it's not just going to spill in that box, but it's going to spill outside of that box and spill on everything else around it in the truck. It'd be all over your stuff. It's a huge mess. So all liquids, no matter what form, they need to be separate in their own separate boxes and clearly identified. Like this honey, right? These oils, all this stuff. You should wrap all of it in paper and have it in its own box. And don't tape it up. Leave it open. That way the movers know, and they don't put it on top of anything. They can put it like at the back of the truck, you know, so it's away from everything else, just in case it did spill. All these cleaners under everybody's sink, all that stuff needs to stay away from everything else.